We feel like we know what's going on, but then we're seeing you try to be shady. You know, you're trying trying to be a spy. Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. I wanted to start going over to you, Michael, and just kind of talking about what it was about this documentary and these characters really that drew you to it and made you want to tell their story.
Well, the documentary is this wonderful Trojan horse, and a lot of great shows that I love are Trojan horses because it has this big funny premise that, like, if your friend said, "What's that show about?" you would say, "Oh, it's about this 80-year-old man who answers an ad and becomes an undercover private detective." But that's not really what it's about. What it's about is a man who's lost his wife, whose world is kind of shrinking, and then he takes this kind of crazy job, and it kind of saves him in many ways. He meets all these people that he comes to care about, and they come to care about him, and he broadens his world a little bit and gets a new lease on life and finds a purpose. And I just loved that. I loved that story, and I love the sleight of hand that happens where you think it's about this funny, silly thing, and really it's actually about very real stuff. You know, like, I think those are the best shows. All of my favorite shows follow that same pattern. So, you know, in terms of what to work on, what to adapt, that it was an easy call for me. I just knew it was the right idea.
Yeah. Did you always have Ted in mind
Yes.
for that?
My producing partner, Morgan Sackett, is the one who suggested the idea. And the way that he phrased it was, we should make The Mole Agent into a series with Ted. It wasn't like first idea and then who's going to play the part. It was Ted. Ted was part of the package from the very beginning.
Gotcha. And so when did you know that you wanted to do it? From the get-go?
Yes, from the get-go. I mean, truthfully, I'd been craving working with them again, even before this came up. But then Morgan did, and Mike said, watch it, watch The Mole Agent. And my wife and I just were delighted by it. And so it was an easy yes.
And you've kind of played like a shady character where we don't always know what's going on with you. But in this one, we feel like we know what's going on, but then we're seeing you try to be shady. You know, you're trying to be a spy. So how was it going into that and just having to try to, be undercover?
Oh, it was a delight. I mean, you get to be silly. You get to, one of my funniest, I think, thing in life is people who are not aware of how silly they are. I just find very funny. And so he's terrible at it, but he's so excited by it. It's kind of charming. But then that quickly spirals off into falling in love with the people he's investigating. And then you get into kind of the meat of the show, which is, what it means to be aging.
There's also this aspect of mystery, that goes into it, which I really feel like can draw people in. So are you both a fan of mysteries?
Yes, we read the same kind of books.
Yep, I've always loved them. When I was a kid, when I was in middle school, I was reading John le Carré novels and Lynn Dayton spy novels, and I've always loved them. I find them, I think The Spy Who Came In From the Cold is maybe the greatest 20th century novel. It's 198 pages long, and it's a perfect story. And the craft of the way that the pieces are moved around the chessboard, I think is fascinating and great. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted this show to have enough of a real mystery, an actual mystery, that people who like mysteries like me would enjoy it. And so there are clues and red herrings and suspects and misleads and all that sort of stuff. But also we reminded ourselves, this is not a show about a mystery. This is a show about a 76-year-old man who gets a new lease on life. And we tried to always make the mystery the fun extra part and not the main guts of the show.
It's the red herring.
Exactly. It's the Trojan horse, yes.
Yes, precisely. And I mean, I just have to ask Ted, how was it, interacting with the mystery? Were you trying to solve it? Did you always kind of know more than you let on as an actor going into that?
No, I think he's terrible at the mystery. He actually tries to quit at some point when he realizes this is way over his head. He's terrible at it. But I think that quickly dissipates and you get into him caring about the people around him. And that's when it gets really sweet to me.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine waking up tomorrow and being like, I'm going to be a super spy. So you have to give him credit for that. But I can't blame him for being distracted by the wonderful people he meets.